Welcome to Beyond the Press Release, a production of Agoracom, in which we take the time to speak with public company executives after they put out important news. And with us today, because he hit it out of this park with the Q1 announcement yesterday, is Grant Johnson, founder and CEO of Esports Entertainment Group, trades on the NASDAQ under the stock symbol GMBL. For those of you new to the story, let me give you a brief explanation, but you can figure it out from the stock symbol. Esports Entertainment Group is an esports and online gambling company that's fueled by the growth of video gaming and the ascendance of esports with new generations. So from traditional sports partnerships with professional NFL, NHL, NBA, and FIFA teams, community-based tournaments in a wide range of esports, iGames and casinos, and boots on the ground LAN cafes, the company has influence over the entire spectrum of esports and gaming at all levels. Now, a lot of companies like to talk the talk, but more than just lip service. Listen to these numbers that came out yesterday for Q1. Revenue, $16.4 million, up 86% sequentially. Year over year, so big, we didn't even calculate the number. Gross profit, $10 million, up 92% sequentially. Both of these over Q4 just a quarter ago. Unbelievable. More and more great financial metrics in there. We're going to talk about them. Grant, welcome back to Agoracom.
George, I love listening to you talk about the company.
Easy to be back when you got those kind of numbers.
I can tell you the number year over year, 7,000%.
Okay, see, I didn't even calculate it because it was such a big number.
But it's a big number.
Congratulations. Before we do a bit of a deep dive, you set records here across the board. How happy are you as a group and you as a CEO to deliver these kind of results into the market?
Well, as you can imagine, we're all pretty pleased with ourselves. I mean, as a company, you can really just have domain over the things you can control. And the numbers tell that story. You know, these are the things we can control. We told people what we would do. We told them what we would do, and then we went and did it. And I think that's what we're proud about. And as you said, the numbers tell the story.
And a bigger number, another number that I like is, I'm quoting you from your quote, we are reiterating our expectation that Esports Entertainment will eclipse more than $100 million in revenue this fiscal year. So this wasn't an outlier kind of quarter. It wasn't like you packed it in with some agreements and packed them all in. There's more to come here. Definitely.
Lots more to come. I mean, not only will we have a whole quarter with all the acquisitions, you know, firing and all the revenue from those, the last one being that hard. But a lot of our big esports projects are just now kicking off. You know, by the next quarter or this next quarter coming up, we'll have the much heralded, long awaited BYGG in New Jersey will be kicking in. We've launched our Mega project, which is a turnkey esport product for theaters, big box stores, bowling alleys, casinos. We rolled that out at the East Coast Congress to a lot of fanfare and a lot of interest. We've already signed 2 6-figure contracts there within the first 3 weeks. So lots more coming there. And then LANDuel, which we think is going to be one of our biggest revenue drivers for the esports sector. That's going to roll out in the early part of January. So a lot of our big revenue generators aren't even a factor yet. So they're still coming. We're very excited about the future.
And I guess that explains, because if I took 16 million, I know it's 16.4, about just round it down. If I took 16 million and extrapolated that, that would be 64 million for the year. So when you're talking about you guys are confident that you're going to eclipse 100 million, now we have an idea of exactly why. You guys have the benefit, man, which is great, of having 2, I call them divisions, and correct me if I'm wrong and categorize it. You've got the traditional iGaming, you know, casino, sports betting, and those kind of things. And you've got the esports side. Is the iGaming carrying most of the load right now? Because you're talking about the esports side really kicking in. And how big of an advantage is it that you've got both? Because not too many companies have both sides of the spectrum, right?
Well, that's true. And it's huge. You know, the iGaming side, the majority of our licenses, the 5 tier 1 licenses we have, that comes in from the iGaming side, which is Ireland, UK, Spain, Sweden, Malta. That came with the iGaming. And the iGaming gives us that revenue, brings a lot of talent, a lot of technology, but a lot of players, a lot of depositing active players. We have across all our iGaming about 1.2 million depositing last quarter. Over 75,000 of them were active on a regular basis.
Wow.
But a couple things that are happening there. We launched Fiscal Casino last year. We had a pay and play, or this last quarter. Over the previous brand, we're up first-time depositors month over month, 500 new first-time depositors month over month. That's just from the one casino brand, which is, we're forecasting that one brand will be $10 million this fiscal. Then you have the entire Bet Hard brand and all of their 250,000 users, which we're introducing casino to for the first time, our casino. So we're going to be able to cross-market and gain the efficiencies between Sport Nation, Donkey Dino, and Bet Hard. So we're going to market to those 250,000 fans our casino platform, which we own. So we expect huge growth there. That's a sector that's already doing 72 million of our revenues is coming from the gaming side. And that number is going up, double-digit growth. So it's huge because it makes us a healthier company and allows us to play the long game, if you would, on the esports side, which is still, I mean, it's still in its infancy, the esports and gaming market.
But it buys the iGaming side, buys the time for the esports side.
Correct.
And you guys are amassing quite the esports side. In fact, the logo's behind you, right?
Yes.
Let's talk about that. You've got on over your right shoulder, you've got your divisions, but the ones I want to talk about is over your left shoulder, where you got these pro sports teams, like I said, anywhere from NHL, NBA, NFL, so on and so forth. What is it you're doing with these partners, and where do you think you're going? Like 13 is a great number. I mean, look at the Rangers, LA Kings, Indianapolis Colts, Patriots, Eagles. Even though I'm a Cowboys fan, I'll forgive you for that. But you've got fantastic teams already, and if you just ended it here, I'd say, all right, that's a great part of the business. What are you doing with these sports teams? Where do you plan on going in terms of growing your roster?
Sure. Yeah, as you mentioned, there's 13 teams. There's 22 teams waiting to sign up. We're just trying to grow fast enough to onboard those teams. So the majority of, at least the NFL, we've been in contact with in communication. We would love to have them all signed up. We have to be realistic. We got to grow as quick as we can. And right now,
you got on board.
We got on board. These teams give us access to about 100 million eyeballs. So that's not a bad start. That's a pretty good start here. These are different than a sponsorship deal. If you're Coors, McDonald's, Nike, you cut a deal with a team, it's usually a 7-figure deal, and you get to advertise your brand in the stadiums and online on game day. This is not that kind of relationship. Okay. Our relationship is more towards partnership. On average, we probably have about $250,000 relationship with the teams. The smaller ones are about 120, the bigger one about 300. But that's where the similarity stops, because out of that side, the team gives us back somewhere between $10,000 and $50,000 worth of pricing for their fans. It would be seasons tickets, trips with the team, jerseys, having the pro players show up and play games with them. All kinds of really cool prizes. But on top of that, the team is the marketing part. Think of it like a super affiliate. But they market to, if you take the Eagles up here, 7.2 million fans with a 20-year waiting list to get seasons tickets. Like, these are generational fans. And the Eagles, as with all the other teams, they market to their fans, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, traditional emails, corporate site, to their fans to sign up on our platform to play in tournaments to win prizes of the team. Like I said, seasons tickets, etc. So they do at least 4 or 5 campaigns for each tournament. Now, if you went to Google and asked Google to send out 7 million targeted emails, you'd probably pay 10, 15 cents an email for a targeted email. You'd be 2-3 times what we're paying for the relationship with the team.
It's fantastic. That's a great business model, Grant.
Now, how do we make money from that? That's the question that keeps getting, but I don't understand why you make money. Simple. We have multiple monetization formulas. Number one, the easy one, this is people who are going to sign up. It's going to be the 35 and under crowd. Not that there aren't great gamers like myself who are, late 50s,
Gray
early
gamers,
60s,
I like that. Gray gamers, I like that.
who like to play video games. That's what they call it. It's not very flattering, but facts are facts. So that's not the majority of the gamer market. The majority of the gamer market, they're under 35. They pay Call of Duty, FIFA, Madden, Fortnite. These are the games they play, majority. And that's a coveted demographic. So if you're a marketing company, if you're selling athletic gear, if you're selling Alienware or HyperX, etc. So whether energy drinks, you want to target that market. So we have sponsorships, and the team has first right of refusal. And so their traditional sponsors have first right of refusal. So the team is also marketing for sponsors to sign up. They don't share in the revenue until we get back our money for our costs. So they sign up, we sign up our own sponsors. That's one way. Number two, we let the fan come in, play the first tournament. We're going to take the friction away. You download our software so you can practice. Then you go back up, you play the tournament. Was that a positive experience? Gamers like the game, so it's going to be a positive experience. Guess what? If you now pay the subscription fee of $6 a month, you can play all these tournaments, all these teams for millions of dollars in prizes for $6 a month. In the meantime, you've downloaded our software, so you can play 100 different games, like having Netflix at home, except we don't charge you like Netflix. You can play the games, and then you come back up and you participate. So we got sponsorship, we got subscription fees. Now the software is on your computer. Hey, we just rolled out a new product here called Lander. This is Grant's going to play George. We're going to play Madden. We want to bet $2 each, $2, $5, $1, $10. So there's a purse of whatever that bet is, and the house takes a commission. We're going to take a 10% big rake commission, whatever you want to call it, and the winner takes the pot. So that's the third way we're going to monetize. Now, if you're a gamer, like a hardcore gamer, you've got a big, like a $4,000 computer at home for the high processor speed. Maybe you want to mine cryptocurrency. That's embedded in the software.
No way. So I've got a Predator laptop I'm talking to you on right now. So if I've signed up, I'm with you. I can also say, hey, Grant, or not Grant, Esports Entertainment Group, I'll turn my laptop into a miner while
probably a laptop. It would probably bake a laptop, but I'm talking the big $4,000, the gaming computers, the high processors.
Oh, right. Got it.
So there is, like with any software, you have to have certain hardware requirements to run the software. The cryptocurrency mining requires, high performance. But the good news is if your hydro or your electric rates are, because the software will analyze what your electric bill is. And so look at that first, then it analyzes what cryptocurrencies are trading for an exchange. Once it sees the metrics line up, so maybe it's after hours, off peak hours. So now it's cheap electricity. And Ethereum is the highest yielding crypto that day. It just turns itself.
Yeah, it'll optimize it. It'll just optimize it right there in the moment. Wow.
And that's what we're doing across our GG circuit network. We have 300 centers that are mining. We're mining over $250,000 a month of cryptocurrency after everybody goes home. So that's just passive income. So those are three of the things. Now, additionally, we're going to be able to do targeted campaigns. There's a whole bunch. There's a myriad of other optimizations.
Yeah, then there's a lot of the traditional side.
To give you a number over here, if we signed up 1/3 of 1 percentage point of the fans, which is not a big ask, that's not a high number, 1/3 of 1 percentage point, just from the subscriptions alone, these would be extremely profitable. You start layering in the sponsorships, LandDuel, crypto, that just takes that fraction down from 1/3 to 1/4 to 20%, 1/10 of 1%. It gets, the economics are incredibly favorable. It's just that it's confusing to people. They don't understand how they make their money. So it's not just a brand identification. Like when you think Jordan and Nike, I mean, Jordan made Nike and it became a multi-billion-dollar corporation, largely because the Air Jordans, he hasn't played in 20 years. They still is the #1 brand that they carry. So people positively identify with these brands, and there's just no question about that. I mean, that's been a fact since the 70s. These are not passive relationships. They are marketing. They're
Definitely
a marketing partner. So this is a way that we're going to move quickly across the American marketplace. Keeping in mind, on our GG Circuit, we already have 2.5 million people registered on GG Circuit software. So we're coming to this thing already controlling most of the ecosystem in the esports and gaming sector.
And by the way, off a side note, we're going to be doing another webcast in a couple of weeks. So when you've got a brand new deck, and we're going to take all the investors through in a little more detail these exciting initiatives and divisions, because it's unbelievable the powerhouse you built, and the market's finally starting to discover it. So last point on the teams, Grant, it's a perfect partnership, because if I'm the Eagles, I got 7.2 million fans. I want to further monetize them, but I'm not going to get into the esports business and so you're the perfect partner there. Is the sky the limit for you on the pro side? Do you have or do you have a lot of competition? Like, is George's esports company trying to come in and compete with you, or are you just going to try and sign as many as you can this year?
I suspect there'll be firms that will move into the space. We know that's happening. Keep in mind, this software that we bought, that we own, that's $50 million worth of software. It's not like you can just George's esportcompany.com can pop up overnight. GG Circuit, that's 5 million coding hours. Put that together. EGL, that's 10 years. We bought it. It was already doing $1 million a month. We spent another $1 million enhancing it. Genji Analytics, Helix, the Helix Center, that's the only working esport venue attached to a traditional stadium over there, Gillette Stadium, Foxborough. So nobody else has these things. You can't just make it up. There's a company that did sign a deal with the Seahawks, but it's a different deal. The Seahawks pay them to run tournaments for the Seahawks. It's a very, you run these tournaments for us, we'll pay $1,000 a tournament or whatever.
Here's a flat fee. We're paying you. We're keeping all the,
you
we're keeping
run
everything else.
This sky is the limit. Let's say you take the Eagles, let's say 100,000 people sign up, which isn't a crazy number on the 7.1 million,
Nope.
7.2 million.
No.
Well, 100,000 people sign up just on a sponsorship. That's what we're talking, 7.2 million a year just on sponsorship, plus. So yeah, sky's the limit. We're excited about this.
All right, looking forward
22 more teams.
And you got, okay, and you're telling us toward 22 more teams are waiting to sign up. So I guess with onboarding, what can you guys onboard, Grant? 2-3 a month,
We were.
or more than that?
So starting next week, we have the Cavaliers. We've redone our platform. It's now Club Clash. So which teams love, because now it's not 2 tournaments a year. It could be 4, 5 tournaments a year. Because the teams love this because it's more engagement with their fans. It's because they're in the entertainment business. This is entertainment. Sports is entertainment. Gaming is entertainment. So you want to keep your fans engaged with your brand. You got to give them something year round to participate in, or more than, in the case of the NFL, 8 home games. What do you do for the other, 298 days of the year? You can't just have concerts and car shows at your stadiums. So this is a way for them to stay involved with the fan, and it builds. You got to remember, it's a way for the teams to recruit future fans, right? I mean, gamers traditionally aren't big sports fans. And the sports teams know this. They're not tracking very well the under 35 set. So now they have a product the under 35-year-old wants. They want a game. They like gaming. And so by associating their brand in a positive way with the thing that the fans want to do, they now are linked. That fan identifies positively with these brands. Hey, I love going to the Eagles Gaming Center. I love going to the Craft Sports Gaming Center. And I just want tickets to the game. Let's go see it. Let's go see a game. So
great ecosystem. Great ecosystem you guys are building. Fantastic. I can't wait to see, how you, promise me, we talk about the Eagles today. It's been very painful. Promise me that, I know you can't say a name, but I hope you're going to be bringing on the Dallas Cowboys soon, so we can have a conversation about the Cowboys next time. Let's hop on.
You should call them up. Have them call me.
Gary. Let's talk about one more initiative, because there's so much going on. But the one the investors want to hear about also is New Jersey.
Yes.
What do you, for those who are new, because there are going to be a lot of new people who saw your big numbers here, 30-second overview. What are you doing with New Jersey? And then what's the status of what you're doing?
Sure. Now, I'm probably the most guilty party here. I expected us to be live late spring, early summer. I called it. And that was based off going through the licensing process 5 times, the tier 1 license. So we had a pretty good understanding of the process. However, COVID was not helpful in the process. Of course, it's our first time going through it with COVID. Number 2, we're the first esport company ever to apply for a license in the United States. That's a problem because the regulators don't understand it either. So we got analyzed to the nth degree, as you can imagine. Last, and definitely not least, it was only last week that the governor signed esports into law as part of their gaming infrastructure.
Well, that helps.
Yeah, that was big. that was necessary. I mean, in the spring, it passed unanimously in the House, but it wasn't until last week that the governor got around to signing off on it. Now, those were all factors. I can say, because we spent a lot of time at the DGE at the Department of Gaming Enforcement, Division of Gaming Enforcement, excuse me, at the East Coast Gaming Congress, and I had a chance to talk with the director directly. They're very excited about it. We're the first, we're the only applicant they've ever accepted. We will be live making a market for esports wagering before the end of this calendar year.
All right, because we're in November, what, 16th, or I'm not sure, but so you're basically talking the next 45 days, you're going to be hot in New Jersey. That's great. That's great. No, a lot of people are going to be looking forward to that. So we'll save that conversation for when that happens.
Yes.
Let me address the elephant in the room, which is the stock price. And I'm not asking you for projection. We saw what Roth came out with, right? They came out with the $22 price target on the company. What is it that the market is missing? Or was this what they're waiting for, this cue to, what are they missing? Because you're trading at 2 and 3 times, lesser multiples than your primary comps. What's the market missing, Grant?
Yeah, well, I think we're trading at 1.3, 1.4 times revenue, which is the lowest in the sector. I think a lot of it was there's been so much hype and over promotion in the space that some of that would be a factor, and the market wanted to see the numbers. We've now had 3 quarters in a row with radical growth, delivering the numbers,
right,
like we said we would. So putting our numbers where our mouth was, so to speak. I think that's a factor. I think the length of time in New Jersey has been an issue. However, as I said, last week it finally got signed into law. We're the only company that's even applied. So you don't have to, it doesn't take a Rhodes Scholar here to connect the dots that we're now signed, and it's now signed into law. There's 1 applicant in there. What do you think is going to happen? So that was a factor. I think the
market waiting for these numbers. I think that's probably your best point.
That's the big one for sure. It has to be the big one, and we'll see how the market responds now that we have delivered. We have put the numbers up. We have 5 analysts all saying it should be high teens, low 20s. It's completely disconnected. From our side, our belief is we stick to our plan. We told the market what we're going to do, and now we're doing it. And when we do these things, it delivers numbers, and those numbers are audited numbers. These aren't made up numbers. We can maybe do this. No, these numbers are audited. We're doing more in a year, in a quarter, than my 4 biggest competitors do in a year.
Say that again. You did more in a quarter than your 4 biggest competitors did in a year.
4 biggest competitors in a year. Actually, we do more in a quarter than the next 4. Yeah, combined. The next 4 companies combined.
Wow. Okay, that's saying something. And I think you're right. Now that look, 2021 is still gonna feel its way out, because we're gonna get into that time of the year when people are taking a bit of a break. But I see nothing but good things ahead of you in 2022, because the great thing about these numbers coming out is there's no boogeyman, there's no surprise. If there was anything there, we'd know it, because you did the audited numbers, did the Q1. I think now it's just a case of the market was probably waiting to see. All right, there's been a lot of hype, there's been a lot of news. Let's see the numbers, and you delivered the numbers. And congratulations, Grant, to you. And I know it's the whole team, but you're the CEO. We got you here. last words to everybody at home. Like, you know, what do you want your loyal shareholders and even new investors to take away from, you know, from today?
Well, as good as the numbers have been, and as good as the numbers sequentially have been, a lot of our major assets are just now coming into place. Got to remember last year, EGM, GG Circuit, those were in-person live events. Helix, no revenues came out of any three of those divisions for the entire pandemic year. They're all back now, firing on all cylinders. We just rolled out our Omega package. We just rolled out our Lando product, which is, you know, we just introduced it. It's going to roll out beginning of the calendar year. Vi.gg is going to go live in New Jersey. So three of our biggest products haven't even launched yet. So, you know, you've got to take some comfort in that not only are we delivering, we're going to continue to deliver, and the numbers are going to continue to go up.
Well, the numbers don't lie, right? The numbers don't lie. You delivered them, and there's more coming with everything coming online now. So can't wait to have you back, Grant, to talk about more success. I guess we're going to be talking about Jersey soon. Hopefully we talk about more sports teams. So we're going to have you on a whole lot. We're going to do that deck review to take everyone through each one of these to really get it, because they're exciting. I love what you're doing. But for today, let's celebrate. Congratulations on what you guys have achieved, and much success going forward.
I appreciate that, George. Thanks for having me, buddy.
For everybody at home, you've been watching or you've been listening to my podcast on Spotify, Google, Apple, your favorite podcast platform, to Grant Johnson, founder and CEO of Esports Entertainment Group, trades on the NASDAQ on the stock symbol GMBL. You got to love that ticker symbol. For those new to the story and you want to start doing your due diligence, make sure you get to the company's website. You see it all right there in the frame. Go right to the company's website, because if you believe in the future of iGaming, esports, and all these great initiatives, then you've got to take a close look at Esports Entertainment Group. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day. See you next time. Hey guys, this video is over, but don't forget to help your company by liking it and then leaving a comment below. And then don't forget to help yourself by subscribing to our channel so you don't ever miss another great Agoracom small cap video.